Political psychology is a field of investigations that creates relationships between personality traits and political attitudes. This is an introduction about how applied psychology has informed our understanding of conservative and liberal personalities. Our first character is the conservative, who often finds themselves in disagreement with our next character, the liberal. To understand these characters, the research selected uses the well-known Big Five personality traits theory from personality psychology, which is a collection of 5 traits that measure personality characteristics and traits across individuals. The first trait is conscientiousness, which represents a hard-working philosophy, driven and goal-focused. The second trait is called openness, concerned with the individual being experimental, original, and open to new experiences. Then extroversion, which is fairly self-explanatory, meaning someone is energetic and social. The fourth trait is named agreeableness, defined by altruistic actions and being trusting. The final characteristic in the Big Five personality theory is neuroticism, touching on the emotionality of the psyche, including anxiety and being nervous. Neuroticism in the Big Five personality theory can also be named emotional stability, meaning the same trait, but to illustrate first as an individual's resilience to anxious feelings. The next incredibly important definition is the differentiation between attitude and ideology. Where an attitude is built upon subjective thoughts and feelings, you can build a colourful society with individuals holding different views and opinions. Alternatively, ideology is more concrete and colourless, which advocates a specific method by which a society must politically, socially, and economically mandatorily live by. Political psychology has investigated both attitude and ideology, but this introduction will focus solely on attitudes, which are more in alignment with contemporary political systems. Now we have a brief understanding of what political psychology is, what one of the biggest personality theories is, along with an idea of what a political attitude is, we get a more comprehensive picture of how our conservatives and liberals are to be perceived in modern society. To outline these characters, the conservative is concerned with tradition, purity, authority, and hierarchy, whereas the liberal is concerned with equality and the goodness society can bring upon the liberty of the individual, as well as social justice. Already, we are beginning to see the differences between our two characters. First, let's focus our attention towards the conservative, looking at their personality characteristics and how these traits manifest in the world. The conservative is known for being conscientious, agreeable to maintain order, somewhat extroverted, and emotionally stable. By these results, we take from it that the conservative is quite content with focusing high amounts of energy on their work because of their conscientiousness. In order to maintain their positivity for tradition, they remain agreeable when it's to bring order, as well as being emotionally stable, meaning conservatives generally have a thick skin to anxiety. This makes the conservative the advocate for tradition. They work as a belief, maintain order for the rules of society, and enjoy stability in their emotions. Their side of the political world is not authoritarian, but advocates traditional order, hence being called the conservative. Now we understand a little about our conservative character, let's see how the personality characteristics manifest in our liberal character. Our liberal character is seen as being very open to new experiences, extroverted, agreeable across more areas of interaction, and relatively neurotic. These characteristics combined, we get a completely different structure of personality traits compared to the conservative. We see openness drives the liberal, whereas conscientiousness drives the conservative. These two traits in the research are known to differentiate the conservative and liberal personalities the most. The liberal becomes the advocate for equality, Trait openness manifests as egalitarianism in pursuit for social justice. Liberals look to promote goodness, and this extends to protesting. Compared to the conservative, liberals' openness affects their agreeableness to manifest in more areas of society. Our two characters also differ a lot in emotional stability. The liberal's skin is not so thick, instead they are more vulnerable to anxiety. Now we have a basic introduction about the liberal and conservative characters in terms of how they've been studied in political psychology. Let's turn to the exciting part: conflicts. In political discourse, we get involved in our own dedicated arena. It's not quite like everyday conversations, as political discourse is influenced by pre-existing stances, group dynamics, and of course, the personality traits in a different way. People become not just representatives of themselves, but of a political group. When conservatives and liberals find themselves on the ground floor of the arena, research has extended its observations to the way the conversation plays out. The liberal is more likely to be attacking the conservatives' political positions, whereas the conservatives will find themselves more of the time defending their positions while rationalising the stances of the liberal. What also facilitates the disagreements is different sets of priorities. For example, the conservative and liberal find it difficult to see eye to eye on the subject of egalitarianism. The conservative accepts the circumstances of society, seeing inequality as natural, whereas the liberal has a hard time agreeing with this, seeing inequality as the result of social injustice and needs correcting, demonstrating the manifesting conflict between the liberal's openness and agreeableness to help society and the conservative's lower relation to agreeableness. To add to the ways in which different political attitudes converse, the conservative and liberal prefer to engage in different environments. As the liberal is more open and extroverted, it makes sense they attend places where many people are crowding to discuss politics, such as protesting. A great contrast in which the conservative likes the comfort of local places, such as a local bar, talking with other individuals or small groups. This can be attributed to their agreeableness not manifesting across many areas and being as high in extroversion. It is also noteworthy that the liberals' trait openness may lead to their viewpoint being easily influenced by another. The conservatives' high relation to emotional stability makes them more tolerant talking to another with a contrasting viewpoint to their own. There is quite a lot of political psychology research out there, as this introduction has merely touched the history of said research. As with anything, there are limitations to personality psychology research and its application to the political world. The main limitation is that it is predictive, meaning the measurements of the research are gained through self-report questionnaires that carry social desirability, meaning the possibility for untruthful answers from participants. But although we have gained enough significant results over time to get these ideas about conservatives and liberals, correlation does not mean causation. Meaning, for example, as the liberal has been portrayed as high in trait openness, this means it is likely a liberal you meet is an open individual. But this is not objectively always the case. It is only a predictive result about someone and how they might behave. Not to mention the endless cultural differences. As a liberal or conservative from France would be different in the views from another living in the United Kingdom, due to the countries being inherently different politically. Overall, this does not mean all the research is inherently flawed. Psychologists have many techniques such as factor analysis to create valid and reliable results, helping us to understand political behaviour and how it can predict personality traits based on political attitudes. There is a long way for the literature and research to go, but we have more than enough significant results to suggest political psychology does empirically discover important aspects of political attitudes. Thank you for watching this opening video to this channel. There is certainly a great deal of future political psychology content planned. Please see to the description for the references used in this introduction to conservative and liberal personalities. Thank you.